angel.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy for feet. This must be my stop.
It's not often we brand someone as psychotic or a psychopath, but sometimes it's just necessary. Just look at Gary Busey. In this case, however, we're going to focus more on the psychopaths in video games, seeing as they're a whole lot more fun. Probably because they're not real, just like Gary Busey. Anyway, time to unleash your inner psychopath. Wait, scratch that. Please don't. But please do chill out and enjoy the 10 most psychotic bastards in video games. For this video, we've omitted characters like Vaas from Far Cry 3 and the Joker from the Arkham series because we've listed them in a previous video.
Commander Shepard.
Illusive Man. I thought we'd be meeting face to face.
We'll start with someone not quite as psychotic as the rest. If you consider that the Illusive Man tried to infuse humans with Reaper technology to create superior humans, this guy is a good benchmark for how insane the characters on this list are. The Illusive Man believed that he could control the unspeakable might of the Reapers by melding with them. He obviously didn't realize how strong the Reapers actually were, and it resulted in a somewhat timely demise for the guy. The Illusive Man also had a private army that he quite frequently used to massacre all sorts of people to further his goals. Really, by the end of Mass Effect 3, he could just easily be referred to as the deluded man, but that doesn't really intimidate as much.
You're clearly a tourist. Our friends from up north, eh? A boot?
Don't even say it like that!
There's a moose loose about the who's. Fuck off, you Hoosier. Hey, what's that?
Ah, who could forget the lovable Trevor from our adventures in San Andreas? If one were to describe Trevor in a sentence, it would be: Trevor is an entrepreneur who enjoys doing unspeakable things to stuffed animals, expanding his business, and occasionally going on the odd murderous rampage through a trailer park, or a farmhouse, or in a plane that's still airborne, or in a local neighborhood on an average Tuesday. You get the idea. Trevor is a bit of a stickler for the old murderous rampage, but don't think he's just a one-note character. Trevor has a soft side to him as well.
But you are a beautiful man.
I've never been so happy and so sad in my life.
It may manifest itself into violating inanimate objects or kidnapping the wives of mobsters, but there's a genuine soft side to Trevor. But we're here for the psycho part, which is there in spades.
So, fresh start. Introductions. RJ Gale, our guest of honor. Paul, our very gracious host. The
Pagan Min had the unenviable task of following Vaas in the Far Cry series, and as a result gone quite under the radar in terms of villains. That doesn't make him any less of a maniac with murderous tendencies. We're introduced to Pagan Min in the somewhat stereotypical evil guy fashion. Pagan Min lands in a bluster of helicopter rotor wash, one of his guards admits a mistake to him, and Pagan feigns understanding, only to savagely stab a pen in the poor guard's throat a moment afterwards.
I hate when things get out of control.
Pagan's compassion for humanity doesn't really improve from that point. Pagan Min, unlike Vaas, has a bit of a flair for the dramatic, characterized in his choice of flamboyant suits. Also, his name. Pagan is a tribute to a Burmese king who slaughtered his family to ascend the throne, which is why our Pagan Min makes this list.
From your diaphragm!
Shh, 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 shh. Now we listen. Nothing.
Do you know who I am? Yeah, we know. That's why you better do exactly what we say.
Up next is Dr. Edward Richthofen, the deeply disturbed scientist from the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. It's quite fitting that he's named after the famous World War I pilot, the Red Baron. But whether Baron did his business in air-to-air combat, the Doctor opts to run all sorts of horrifying and inhuman experiments upon his unfortunate victims. Dr. Richthofen also seems to take quite a bit of pleasure in being drenched in zombie blood.
I long to bathe naked in your blood!
We know, this guy is properly screwed up. He's also a Nazi, which has generally been frowned upon throughout history. But Richthofen is probably quite useful to have in the case of a zombie apocalypse. Just try not to fall asleep near him.
You cannot begin to comprehend the great evil you could unleash!
Phew! That's what happens when you mix C4 with a bean burrito.
Who doesn't love themselves a bit of the merc with a mouth? Constantly spouting topical pop culture references and breaking the fourth wall, Deadpool really is a likable character. Until you take into account the fact that he has quite the appetite for turning people into human kebabs using his blades. Or any weapon, really. He's not exactly picky.
Oh, dang a time!
Deadpool's love of Mexican cuisine and unicorns does absolve him a little, because who doesn't love these things? But really, Wade Wilson is just as much as a mad psycho as folks like Richthofen or Trevor. He just chooses to see the funny side of his gruesome murder sprees. All he wants is Wolverine's approval anyway.
That's for never taking us to the prom! That's for always working late. That's for being short.
Let's give your parents a call right now.
The birth parents you are trying to reach do not love you. Please hang up.
Okay, she may not exactly be human, but GLaDOS is based on the human, and she's a highly advanced AI, so close enough. At first glance, GLaDOS' incessant need to put you through countless tests could be explained away as her programming dictating it. But once we get through a few tests, we realize that GLaDOS is basically just toying with our prey, insinuating that there will be a nice cake waiting for us at the end of the testing. But really, she is just waiting for the opportune moment to do away with you.
Otherwise, I'm afraid you're about to become the immediate past president of the Being Alive Club.
GLaDOS may not be as omnipotent as other rogue AIs like Skynet or Cleverbot, but she certainly reigns supreme in the Aperture science testing facilities. She also keeps insinuating that we're fat, which may not be as psycho, but it's just plain hurtful.
This plate must not be calibrated to someone of your generousness. I'll add a few zeros to the maximum weight.
He's angry!
What more can be said about an overweight man wearing a pig's head for a mask, communicating in short, simple words, and murdering people with a chainsaw? Really, what more can be said? We don't know. This guy surpasses the psychotic and enters the realm of the surreal and deranged. What's probably more ridiculous is that Pixie isn't just a serial killer with a love for the disturbing, he's an actor in a film. The director of said film should probably be up on this list too, along with the rest of the film crew, and producers, and just everyone associated with this movie. But then this video would be called 10 Most Deranged Psychopaths in Gaming and One Really Weird Film Crew. The title doesn't flow too well that way. But we digress because we literally cannot say any more about Pixie, except that he still haunts our nightmares.
B-Man, Mr. J doesn't want you following us just yet.
Another comic book entry, and one we simply cannot ignore either. You may be thinking that the Joker is the obvious psychopath in the Arkham series, but really, we think Harley Quinn deserves some recognition here. It's one thing to be a deranged lunatic with a love of chaos like the Crown Prince of Crime, but it's a different thing altogether to be a respected psychologist with a normal life who falls in love with the Joker.
My name's Holleen. Holleen Quinzel.
What a pretty name. Do your friends call you Honey?
That's some insane shit right there. Don't be fooled either. Harley Quinn didn't just become one of the Joker's cronies, she's a devious character in her own right. Luring adversaries into traps with her cunning and looks, and then whacking them with an oversized mallet. Harley seems like a lovely lady.
She needs to be gutted. Then I'll shove her in my icebox, and we'll be together forever.
Yes, it's another Killer Clown, but with it being rebooted, it seems only logical to shamelessly cash in on the Killer Clown hype train. Enter Needles Kane. Not to be confused with Citizen Kane. Needles can be recognized, among other things, by his flaming head and clown mask, a unique look by all accounts. Needles can also be noticed by the car he drives, namely an ice cream van named Sweet Tooth.
It was like Christmas morning. Every hallway filled with little gifts.
How does one come to be a flaming-headed ice cream truck driving psycho clown, you ask? Well, the standard way really. Needles was an ice cream salesman with a happy family. He then proceeded to snap, murder his family and friends, and then go on a hunt for the one daughter that escaped his rampage. Pretty textbook if you ask us.
She actually hurt me. And this time, I'm going to finish what I started.
Remember, no rush.
The last entry here is a bit different. It's you, the gamer. You psychotic bastard! How many people have you ruthlessly and brutally murdered in your video game exploits? You probably even mowed all those people down in the airport mission on Call of Duty, even though the game never asked you to. You probably blew up the nuke in Megaton. You probably threw the baby penguin off the edge in Mario 64. All the people on this list don't hold a candle to the lunacy exuding from your fingertips. But who are we to judge? We did all those things too. We're just as disturbed as you are. We even did this. It's a sad state of affairs, really. And on that depressing bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Good night. Wait, that's the ending to Top Gear. Let's try again. And those are the 10 devious psychopaths in video games. Did we miss any of your favorites? Let us know in the comments and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more psychotic joy here at Zoomin Games.
Wait, this next test does require some explanation. Let me give you the fast version. There, if you have any questions, just remember what I said in slow motion.